I feel like Mike Jordan. Give me the rock and I'm scoring. Hey, came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
Oh, yo, what's up, everybody? It is your boy Rick back. BLC is back, at least with me. But I am back for good. BLC with Rick and Jose and John and Eric and Jack. The whole crew is back together finally. Unfortunately, though, it has been a rough time just being a Chicago fan in general. Although if you're a Cubs fan, maybe you're kind of just, you're cruising right now. But I'm back. BLC is going to be even better than ever. Once a week, back to our regularly scheduled programming. And, it's going to take some time to get the rust off a bit. And I think a couple of the guys are going to show up here in a few minutes. But I just want to say what's up to everybody. Kind of going a little bit about my absence. So I was in the Navy. I was in the military for a few years. I was on deployment over the last few years. So I just kind of want to let all you guys know that for my absence. That's kind of where I've been. And it's, different time zones. I got to be up early. I got to be up late. It wouldn't work with the podcast. So had to take some time to kind of just, obviously, deployments and military life plus this stuff is a little difficult to manage, especially when you're in a different country. As we have Eric. Eric, I'm going to bring you in here one sec. There you go, Eric.
Hi.
What's up? Eric's here. What's up, man? I'm kind of just going into why I was absent from BLC and really just from Star 6 Media here for a while. It was I was in the Navy. I was in the Navy. Will be a veteran here soon in a couple weeks. Probably is when I officially separate. Was on deployment, so that's kind of why I took the break. So for everybody listening, that's why I took the break. But like I said, Eric, you, Jose, John, Jack have still been doing Big League Chicago, and I said it's going to be better than ever going forward from here on out. I'm sure you agree with that. 100% for sure. But now that Eric's here, now that I've said my piece, now that Eric's here, we can just bash on the fucking dog shit Bears, because that is exactly what they are, dog shit. I don't know where to start, man. Like I said at the beginning, it's tough to be a Chicago fan right now. Like, I just bought this hat just because, like, I love the team so much. Well, I just love being a Chicago sports fan so much, but the Bears right now are so bad. We got JST Killer in the chat. What's up, JST? Nice to see you again, man. Eric, do you want to start? Do you want me to start on this terrible game, on the terrible Bears organization? How do you want to go about this right now?
First things first, I'd like to thank you for your services. We appreciate what
thank
you do, especially going for overseas, man. You've been missed. That's for sure. But you know what? Since you haven't been here in a while, I'm gonna give you the floor to start this show off, Rick. Go right ahead.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for everything you just said. Dude, I'm about to go on a rant. This loss to the Chiefs has been probably one of the worst losses. And look, we came into this game not expecting a win, but we expected some sort of competent offense, some sort of competent defense, some sort of competent special teams and coaching, and we got none of that, dude. We got absolutely zero. Especially after the week the Bears had. You guys, I believe you guys talked about it on JCA Sports Podcast. So go, everyone listening, watching, go check that out as well, because you guys talked about it. Alan Williams resigning from the team, Eberflus taking over defensive play calling, Justin Fields comments about coaching and himself being misconstrued, whatever. And then, like, to top it all off, towards the end of the week, $100,000 worth of stuff was stolen from Soldier Field. So you put all that into 5 days. All of that happened within a span of 5 days, probably less. And the Allen Williams thing is still up in the air. There's still, like, reports on it, not, true or false, whatever they may be. And we're thinking as Bears fans, like, okay, this, and Eberflus said it, and I think a lot of other guys said it, this is one of those games where you have to come in, again, it's the Chiefs, we're probably not going to win, but we need to do something. We need to show the city of Chicago and its fans that we can come up from this. And what did they do? They did absolutely fucking nothing, man. They looked like dog shit coming out. I mean, the first drive was probably the best drive. Like, you had Justin rolling out, throw a couple passes. They had a garbage time touchdown to DJ Moore, which helped me out in fantasy, but that's regardless of the point. They looked terrible. Justin Fields, just to kind of get some stats out here. Justin Fields, 11 for 22, 99 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 47 rush yards. DJ Moore, 3 receptions, 41 yards, 1 touchdown, again in garbage time. Mooney, 1 target, 0 catches. Kmet, 2 receptions, 22 yards. 203 total yards for the Bears. Over half of that was rushing. Only 23 minutes of possession, 6 penalties. Defense couldn't tackle anybody. The Chiefs just scored at will, man. It was insanity. We look like a fucking Pee-wee football team against the mascots. That's what we look like. Every time now from here on out, when I see those mascots just taking out these like Pee-wee kids, when they play in the stadiums, that's what I think the Bears are. That's what the NFL sees. That's what every single fan base sees when they watch a Bears game, if they even care to watch a Bears game. I don't know what we have to do as fans to express how pissed off we are. I think I'm just going to start by not buying any more shit. I've done my shopping for the year. I'm sick of Eberflus saying we have to take a hard look at what we're doing play calling. The McCaskies, we have to, I don't know, really look at the coaching staff. We're going to do better. We're going to try better. I am so sick of the McCaskies' old asses thinking they know how to own a football team. They are just as much a part of these losses and this terrible team as Eberflus, as Poles, as Fields, as the defense. I don't know what we're going to do, man. I don't know what the Bears can do to come back from this. I just don't know. It is so bad. It is so bad. And that's kind of my thing on it. So, Eric, I'm gonna give the floor to you. This has been one of the worst starts to a season that I can remember in my time as a Bears fan. And 2 years ago, we still had Nagy. We had Trestman and Emery for like 2-3 seasons. And this somehow is probably just as bad as those years. I'm just so sick and tired of this Bears team looking the same year after year, quarterback after quarterback, defense after defense, coach after coach. I'm sick of it, and I don't know what they can do. I don't know what they can do.
All right, I'm just going to put this on the record that I think we all kind of put this one as a loss for the Chicago Bears, right? Right?
Absolutely.
I think we're all in agreement, right? I think let's go out by there. So am I really that upset? No, not really. And I think it just goes back to the loss against the Green Bay Packers and how everything's just been accumulating, just the downfall after downfall after downfall after downfall, right? And then I think it wouldn't have been that bad if we weren't on this 13-game losing streak. You know what I mean? I think if there was just one win somewhere in between, the first win and then somewhere in between there, we would have just gotten a win. I think everything would have been all fine and dandy and whatnot, right? Obviously, if that would have happened, we would have never gotten the number 1 draft pick. But that goes without saying. With all that being said, Rick, yeah, bro, like this is just bad. And even the Trestman era, that was horrible, but this feels a lot worse. And I think the only reason why this feels a lot worse is because we have so much high optimism with this team, right? We had this second year with Justin Fields, this next step, this and that, and everything. They were like, everybody was just excited. DJ Moore, the trade for him, all of it. And I think the sucker punch really happened just losing to Green Bay at home the first game of the season, and I think that was it. Like, and it was just derailment after that.
Yeah.
Last week it was just for me it was a toss-up game. In the beginning of the season before the whole season started, there was a few games that had me worried. Last week was one of them simply because September going down to Tampa and all that was just into play, right? And I still had the Bears to win, and it was an opportunity for the Bears to win last week too. Justin Fields threw it away, literally.
Yeah.
But now I think this past week, the only reason why it feels this bad is because, like you just mentioned, like there was no effort, there was no passion, there was nothing, and they just got steamrolled by the Kansas City Chiefs. Bro, I'm gonna put it like this to you, okay? Never in my years of fandom that I have for the Chicago Bears, and I'm talking about years and years, did I ever take a nap watching the Chicago Bears. I took a fucking nap, bro. I took a nap.
Yeah.
Because this game got so out of hand so quickly. This game, they were talking about more Taylor Swift than they did about the football game, which was kind of annoying to me. And I just knocked out. Like, I just legit just sat back, relaxed, and took the fat man nap when my hands were on top of my belly and just knocked the fuck out, bro. Like, literally, that's how I fell asleep, man. And it just legitimately, I'm not even pissed off anymore. I think I'm at the verge of, like, apathy is just kicking in to where it's just like, okay, like here we go again, right? And nothing gets fixed, Rick. Nothing is getting fixed because we're literally going to do the same thing: rinse, repeat, recycle, rinse, repeat, recycle, rinse, repeat, recycle. Because no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, people are calling off for Eberflus to get fired, fire the whole entire staff, fire this, fire that, fire everybody, right?
Yep.
And the whole point is why? Like, why even doing that? Because at this point, it's just kind of like we're just doing the same thing that happened with Jay Cutler with all the 17 offensive coordinators that he had. We're going to do the same thing, with when John Fox came and they drafted Mitchell Trubisky and they got Mike Glennon and then Mitchell Trubisky and then they fired John Fox and then Mitchell Trubisky got Matt Nagy and then Matt Nagy couldn't do Mitchell Trubisky, so they drafted Justin Fields and they had 1 year. Like, it's going to be the same bullshit over and over and over again until the only difference I see with this is that Kevin Warren is there.
Yep.
And that's the only glimmer of hope, unless if somehow, some way, Justin Fields decides to play on his instinct and let him play football and let him turn it around. And that's all we're waiting for, dude. Like, I can go on and on and on. But I know I don't want to keep going on and on and on about this because at the same time, bro, like it's just we're also repeating the same damn thing.
100%.
Truly, right here, like it's weird, bro. Like it's not even weird. It's just this 13 game losing streak that we have, bro, is doing something. It's doing something to all of us. It's doing something to us that we've never been there before, and now we are being compared to as worse as the 0-16 Lions. We're being compared to the Jets as one of the bad and worst football teams in the NFL. And by the way, the national media is talking about how we are the most embarrassing organization in the NFL outside of Chicago, and that's just messed up. That's how you know you hit rock bottom.
100%. And we got CP in here, one of the biggest supporters of Star 6 Media. CP, you had the crying faces here in the chat.
I felt your pain, Rick. I really felt it, bro.
Yeah, you have to, dude. You have to. So I want to let you say your piece. So what is up with the Bears right now? This like Eric said, 13-game losing streak, uninspired football, not proud of the product they're putting out. What are your feelings about the Bears right now?
It's sad, man. It really is. Like, it's like weird.
Like, this is the most sad I've ever
You hear it in the voice.
it's like you're numb at this point. Like it's like we're poisoned or something. I can't explain it. Like we got this disease that we're having a hard time getting rid of, and the disease is affecting everybody that plays for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, I don't even know where to start. Like, okay, we've been, terrible for the most part for years, but I think we were flying under the radar being terrible, and we weren't getting much coverage because we were terrible. Now we're getting coverage because how terrible we are, and now the whole world is seeing, like, only we knew how bad we were. Now it's on display for the whole world to see, and everybody's paying attention now, and that puts the pressure on the coaching staff, the players, and now I feel like you see it on the field when they go into these games. They're feeling the pressure from fans. They're feeling the pressure from the media. And they're going to keep getting ripped every week until they figure these things out. And, I mean, you guys alluded to it already, bro. The owners. Like, it's like this always happens with Chicago teams, whether it be the Bulls or the White Sox. And now here we are. It's happening to the Bears. I'm telling you, this city is like disease sports-wise.
It is, and
for yourself, we have the Cubs giving us happiness over
here. The Cubs are literally the only thing keeping us going right now.
They are the only silver lining, and as we're talking football, Mr. Tony Football has joined Big League Chicago.
Let's have you back, bro.
Big Tony.
I'm glad, Rick. I'm glad to see you back, man. For sure.
Thank you.
We miss you. I miss you, Rick, man.
Yeah. Thank you, CP. Thank you, Jose. Or sorry, Tony. Tony Football. Tony Football, talk to us, dude. Talk to us about this disgraceful, embarrassing Bears team. Again, Eric said it at the beginning. I don't think any of us were really expecting a win against the Chiefs because they're just so goddamn good. But we expected something. So Tony Football, take it away.
After everything that happened this past week, the disaster you talk about from the defensive coordinator resigning, to Justin Fields calling out the coaches, to that picture of him and Luke Getsy hugging, to how much, over 100,000 of lawn care items stolen from Soldier Field. At least all we wanted was for them to be somewhat competitive. All we wanted was for Justin Fields to literally just provide some kind of spark after the comments he made from the coaching staff, to at least give us something, show us something. Hey, look, you know what? Yeah, he said this and that, but here's how we are. This is the real team this is the product that we have. Rick, I'm tired, man. I don't I came on this I came on this show today to just vent, man, to really just because I need to.
Thank you. Yep.
I get, like, Rick. I think your emotions, how you everything you said when we first started the show was perfect. Eric, I get it. Like I know I've seen the fire from you before, but I think you just sound like a tired Bears fan, and I don't blame it.
I'm tired. I am tired.
You know what speaks volumes though, is that Mahomes and Kelsey used our game. Mahomes used our game to be a wingman, bro. Like, how embarrassing is that? He used our game to put his homie on. Like,
Taylor Swift is in her football era right now. That fucking jerk.
It doesn't get worse than that. Against us, Mahomes wouldn't have been able to do it. Come on, bro.
We are the laughing stock of the NFL. When did we become the Cleveland Browns? Remember when they had when they had the paper bags over the face or over the heads? And they were. When did we become that? That's what we are right now. We are a joke. Nationally, they're just killing us in every single show, on every single broadcast. Doesn't matter who it is. They're just talking bad about the Chicago Bears, and for good reason. I'm tired of it. Rick.
Remember the 0-16 Lions?
Yes.
I feel like that's how bad we're looking right now.
That's how bad we're looking.
That is how bad we're looking, and I just don't know where we go from here. Go ahead, Tony.
The Broncos just got freaking 70-piece by the Dolphins. I'd rather be them. I'd rather be the Broncos right now. Because at least the owners on the Broncos will pick up somebody like Sean Payton. We'll spend money for Russell Wilson. We'll do things to look. Whatever's happening with the Broncos is totally up to the coach and the players. They're just not performing. But the ownership there is doing whatever the fuck they need to do to make that team relevant. I'd rather be them than the Bears right now, and it's crazy.
And the worst part about it, though, you just said that, Jose. Like they got 70 piece by the best offense in the NFL right now at the moment, and yet they're still favorite to come here to Chicago against.
Yeah,
that's even worse.
That's insane.
Like it just the hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper before everything gets filled up, bro. Like it's crazy.
And you know how the McCaskies treat us? They treat us like that one guy that owns a restaurant that stops into that restaurant every now and then to see how it's doing, but he doesn't really give a shit about how the restaurant's doing. Stop in, look around, and then okay, keep doing what you're doing, guys, and then just walk off.
Okay.
No, he gives the restaurant business but doesn't leave a tip ever. Yeah. that's what it is, bro. And speaking of ownership, Christian says something here. Bring Lovey back. The Bears have had one winning season since they fired Lovey Smith in 2012 after a 10-win season. This is just another example of why the McCaskies are so bad at owning a football team. And look, I love the fact that, you know, Hallis's granddaughter and her husband or whatever, they own the team. I like that it stayed in the family. You know, George Hallis is one of the guys that built the NFL, really, when you look at it, right? But oh my God, every single move they make is horrible. And when we look at this, right, we look at Justin Fields, we look at the coaching, we look at the GM, and we're always like, if we just get rid of this guy, if we just get this guy, blah, blah. The Bears and us Bears fans just want something to fucking work for once. That's all. It doesn't matter if it's a new GM. We just want something to work, because no matter what, I think until we start actually winning, until we start having a season like we did in 2018 or in 2006 or in 2011 with Jay Cutler, even with Jay Cutler when we went to the NFC Championship, like until we start having something like that with the right GM, with the exact right pieces in place, it's going to just be a shit show from here on out.
Rick, you said the right ownership. You say that, but in all reality, it still wasn't even the right ownership. Literally, the Chicago Bears struck lightning in the bottle every so often. Like the Chicago Bears have that in them where they have this one.
Well, just every even a blind squirrel will find a nut once.
Our coattails with that one though. Like 2018, everybody was excited because the Bears defense and so on and so forth. But then when it really came down to the playoffs, they choked at the end, right? You said 2010 and that one season with Jay Cutler going to the NFC Championship and him going down and Caleb Haney through. Like we still remember those days and obviously the Super Bowl, but in between those periods, we're kind of like, shit.
Trash.
Well, okay,
right,
cool.
look how spread out they are.
8 and 9 and 7 and 9 or whatever the records are in between there. And then we have like the 50-piece back-to-back 50 burgers that we got from the Patriots and the Green Bay Packers in that Trestman area. Like, there's a lot more down, but yet we ride so much on one good season because we haven't had a good season in such a long time.
Consecutive good seasons.
We have low standards, Eric.
Like
Well, when is it going to be our turn, though? When is it going to be our turn? You see the Packers, even after Aaron Rodgers is gone, they still look. I'd rather be there. Jordan Love. I'm not sitting here saying Jordan Love is going to be the next best thing over there, but they look a lot more formidable than this Bears team. Yeah, and it's not supposed to happen. Like
I was watching Jordan Love play yesterday. I don't know if it's just Green Bay's development of quarterbacks, but he looked so poised in the pocket, like he's been doing it for years, bro. Like he was drafted 10 years ago, and I'm just like, it's like.
But CP, you know what the worst part is, though? Like, you know what the worst part is, Rick and Eric, is the fact that like, we still might get the number one pick again. We still might be the worst team with the worst record in two top 3 or 5 picks. Yep. And there's no confidence in the owner, the GM, the coach. There's no confidence in anything any person in this organization to get it right. I would rather them just blow it all up, fire everybody, bring in somebody different. But even then, I have no confidence in this team.
Right? Where do you start? That's the thing, Jose. Where do you start?
Exactly. You don't.
And Eric had mentioned it earlier, right? Like the last few seasons, right? It was Fox and Pace, right? Pace had no ties to Fox. fired him after a year. Then he brought in Nagy, and then Poles had Nagy, didn't have any links to Nagy or Fields or whatever. So there's like this overlap of yes. GMs, of coaches, right. of quarterbacks,
yes.
and kind of like you guys are saying, blow it up. Let Kevin Warren, someone who has brought a lot of money and a lot of infrastructure to the Big Ten before he got hired here to the Bears, like let him start it. Because
he has no allegiance to Poles and Eberflus either. I mean, like
you're
said,
right.
But like you said, Pace inherited Fox. Fox inherited Mitchell. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nagy inherited Mitchell Trubisky,
mm-hmm.
and then Poles inherited what's his name, Justin Fields. It's like, and then Warren inherits them. It's like, when are you going to have one person hire another, then brings in another, and brings in another? It's a shit show.
And that's why I think, right, like if McCaskey hired Warren, the president of operations, after Ted Phillips left, after 20 years or whatever with the organization, let's let him do it. If he wants to fire Poles, fire Poles. I'm not totally out on Poles yet, but a lot of the moves he made this last offseason are very questionable, but I'm still not totally out on Poles. I'm out on Eberflus.
Yeah, me too.
Fields, again, I feel the only thing with Fields is I want him to be so successful. That's what it is, and I don't hate him yet, right? Like, not like I did Trubisky or like I did a lot of the other quarterbacks. But if he wants to get rid of Poles, if he wants to get rid of Eberflus, if he wants to get rid of Justin, if he wants to get rid of whoever else he wants, okay, I can see that. Because if Kevin Warren hires a GM who hires a coach who drafts a quarterback, all four of those people like each other in a sense, right? Like they are aligned with the vision that Kevin Warren is putting out there. That's what needs to happen, I think, because you see a lot of these organizations where either their president of operations or their owner hires everyone at once and they draft somebody. Eric, go ahead.
But see, even after you say that, and even you say that Kevin Warren needs to do that, you know who he still has to go up to, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
McCaskey, we all know he doesn't fire people mid-season or during the contract.
Yeah.
In the mid-year. We haven't fired a coach in the middle of the season whatsoever, right? With Justin Fields, I mean, I get it. I know what he was trying to say, but we still have 1 year, literally, truly, to keep Justin Fields. Like rookie contract, you can't let them cut ties really, really quick if he's especially in the or something like that. There's something in the rules like that. Maybe I may be wrong.
Yeah.
You're right. You fire everybody, this season goes to waste. You could bring the optimism back. Like, okay, next year we're gonna have 2 top 5 picks. Okay, in the first round, fine, great, all right, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But again, until that lines up, that if Kevin Warren just says, okay, Poles, I trust you for now, but again, you can't fire Ryan Poles because like he's literally just 2 years into this job, and this is his
second year. You're right. You're right.
Really I feel like if you do that, you haven't given him really the opportunity to prove himself that he can actually build this from the ground up. You said he made some questionable decisions. Yes and no, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's done enough to at least try to help this team best way possible from this year to last year. It just looks so bad because they haven't started off on the right foot. They haven't even started off on the right foot at all since their last win last year. It kind of is like you have to give somebody the opportunity. Eberflus is not the guy. After this whole debacle, Eberflus is not that guy.
Nope. Lost all confidence in him.
Whose job is it to develop Justin Fields? Whose job is that?
It has to be Eberflus. It has to be the coaching staff.
Has to be
the coaching staff.
You haven't done it. You made the move to trade up to Justin Fields,
mm-hmm.
and it hasn't worked out. So now, if you go through another 12, 13 loss season, you got to make a move. You either got to say, no, I believe in Getsy and Eberflus. I'm going to stick with them, and we're going to move on from Justin Fields. Or you say, you guys aren't doing the job. We traded up for Justin Fields. We saw all this potential in him, and we saw flashes last year, and we think, okay, let's put the pieces around him so there's no excuses. And now we're seeing the same thing. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Who do you look at? You look at the coaching staff, right? You look at Getsy and you look at Eberflus. So some decision has to be made, but we can't go a whole nother year with this same staff. I'm with y'all. I don't see no reason to get rid of Poles yet. It's just way too early. I'm looking at the coaching staff and I'm looking at Justin Fields. You have to figure those two equations out.
And Eberflus, during his post-game conference or media availability, whatever it was, I watched the entire 9 minutes of that. He looked like a coach that had absolutely no idea what was going on. He was and credit to the reporters who were asking him questions. They were challenging him. They were like, why is it taking 3 weeks to develop? Why is this person not doing it? Are you going to hire a defensive guy to take over defensive play calling? Because obviously he's got his hands full. Like it's clear that he is overwhelmed with calling defensive plays, trying to make this team any sort of like look any sort like a team, like an NFL team. He was answering questions like, we got to take a hard look at what we're doing. Everybody's got to do something better. But the way he was saying it, his posture, the way he was answering those questions, he was lost. He looked like a guy who knew he was going to get fired. And McCaskey's don't fire coaches midseason. Okay, I get that. Whatever. Respectable to a point, but it's getting to that fucking point. Justin Fields, too, answering questions. Overall annoyed with the questions he was being asked. Oh, do you look at the stats? No, I don't look at the stats. What am I going to look at my completion percentage? Dude, it's getting to a point. One of my friends, shout out to my friend Chris. He's like, he does not look like he takes pride in his ability to play football. I don't know that for a fact. I'm not going to speak on that, but part of it, when I see it, I'm just like, oh my God, he's making sense, because the way he plays is a little bit like, what the hell? You know, even towards the end of the game, he was dapping people up like, hey, good job, whatever, you know, trying to keep the team uplifted. But it's true, man. Like, it's starting to look like he does not want to play on this team.
The morale is going down, Rick. The morale's going down, and that's something the head coach has to instill in his players. And you see it. They know. The players aren't dumb. They know they're bad.
Yes.
They know.
Yes.
They know they have no shot. They had no shot yesterday, and they have no shot against whoever. It's a joke. It's complete. Look, I would rather have Matt Nagy and that debacle last year.
Oh shit!
I'm not being dead ass.
No, stop the presses on that one.
No. I would rather have Matt Nagy and Mitchell Trubisky in here right now, because at least they were somewhat competitive. The numbers between Fields and Trubisky isn't even close. Trubisky had a far better campaign here with the Bears than Fields has the last couple years under Matt Eberflus, and that's saying something. That's how bad it is. Luke Getsy, I get why everybody thought he was the next big thing, but Aaron Rodgers made him look good. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers made him look good, and that was that. Luke Getsy ain't it. Matt Eberflus ain't it. They have nobody on that coaching staff that looks like they could develop or inspire anybody, and that's a huge issue. I would give Justin Fields another shot, but that coaching staff has to go. They have to go.
And on that note, Eric mentioned it earlier, and me and Eric were somewhat on the same page last season, right? 13 straight losses. And this is no dig at you, Tony, but it's become a point of conversation now, where those 13 losses going back to last year is now like, what the fuck is going on, right? Because yes, we're talking about Eberflus and this coaching staff. So maybe we still would have had a top 5 pick. Maybe we still would have been able to get DJ Moore or someone to his caliber, some sort of wide receiver 1 or something. Does that kind of like does this kind of change your mind now from last year? Obviously, it looked a lot better with the play calling towards the end of the year. I would much rather have the Getsy of last year than whatever the fuck is going through his head this year. But does this kind of like make you look back and be like, man, it would have been nice to have sprinkled in 1 or 2 wins in that 10-game losing streak?
No, absolutely not. Because again, if you think about it, then you don't have DJ Moore, and you need someone like him going forward if you want to be successful, whether it's with Eberflus or not. You need a number 1 wide receiver. And imagine if they got the 1 or 2 wins, we wouldn't have DJ Moore. And imagine this team now without him. I'm not saying he's been a difference maker, but if you have any shot of turning this season around, you need somebody like him. You need it. And we just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it come to fruition yet. But if the Bears, if Justin Fields, if any of us want any type of relevancy or anything, we need DJ Moore. We need everything that we need. These other guys that we got from that trade. I mean, and I don't know. It's otherwise it'd be even worse.
You need DJ Moore, especially when you have Claypool playing like a soft-ass bitch. CP, what do you think about those 13 losses in a row? Would you have wanted one of those wins to come like last year or something, you know, given the DJ Moore situation, the number 1 pick situation?
No.
I don't like the confidence in that answer.
No, I think last year was like, it was supposed to be a building year last year. No one went into last year thinking, okay, this is our year, except Eric. Like this like
true. Me too.
We knew what that was, and we knew heading into the offseason what was going to be our mission, and that was to build a better roster around what we believe to be our franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10 straight losses to end the year, that was supposed to be like, okay, we're going to go into this new year. But now, I mean, we're sitting on 13. I get no one expected us to beat the Chiefs. Like, I mean, it was a tough start, and I didn't think we would get dead like that by Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I mean, we look ahead to Denver, bro, and if you lose that one against the team that just got 70 put on their heads. I know it's Miami. Miami looks unbelievable right
They're
now.
Amazing,
but if you lose to them, especially if you lose to them in a bad fashion, and Russell Wilson looks like it's 2013 again, I don't think you can wait till the end of the year. I'm sorry, bro. Like, there's going to be way too much heat. Like, Chicago fans are passionate. We're one of the largest markets, bro. Like, you can't be just putting anything out there and just expecting, we'll get through this. It's like you said, in those media sessions, they look like they didn't want to be there, bro. They were just looking, like, answering the questions like, let's get this over it. Like, like, he just wants to get out of there, bro. Like, because he knows these questions he's being asked. Like, he's got to feel embarrassed, honestly.
So, with all that being said, Eric, did you have anything to say real quick before I get to the last couple questions? No? Okay, yeah, you look tired.
I mean, it's just one of those, like, we just.
He sounds so depressed.
Oh yeah.
We just need the season to be over with, like, tomorrow type of thing,
But even that, Eric doesn't give me any type of hope. It's not that the season needs to be over with. It's that heads need to roll left and right. I don't care who it is at this point.
And it's actually a perfect segue into one of these questions, like, is the season over, or is this some sort of situation where they look like, I said earlier, like dog shit? That's going to be my phrase of the podcast, dog shit football. Or is there some sort of hope that they can turn this around? Is there any hope they can turn this around, or is it just dog shit football?
The little optimism that I have, bro, to be honest with you, like, I see the little plays that Justin had, like, that dime that he threw to DJ Moore, and DJ Moore dropped it off, right?
Yeah.
I guess the other pass, like, there's a few, just a few plays, and I'm talking about the very few plays that I stayed awake watching the game is what's keeping me to have some type of hope, right? That they might turn it around, that somehow, some way, they can just flip the page and all of a sudden, like, this is all good, bro. Like, but I'm talking about, like, it's what, 85-15 of, like, 15 is the hope that I have left. It's just really it's bad, dude. It's bad, and one win could just help us just a little bit to have some type of joy. But even then, man, I'm looking at the schedule and, where the hell is this win gonna come from?
Right, I'm looking at the schedule too, bro. Like, I hate that people keep saying, "Oh, this is a weak schedule." Like, there's still some optimistic Bears fans out there that I got to deal with. And they're saying, "Oh, we still have a weak schedule." What? We're a weak team. What do you mean? Like, people are probably looking at us like, "Okay, this is where we get a win." Like, I'm sure the Raiders is chomping at the bit for us. Commanders and Broncos, they definitely are chomping at the bit for us. Like, bro, stop thinking we're just going to run these teams. We got the Cardinals on this schedule. That was supposed to be an easy W. I'm not so sure no more.
No.
Cardinals look better than us.
We beat the Cowboys.
And you guys said earlier, I forget who it was, but it's like we're going to have 2 top 5 picks. I'm ready to trade Justin Fields to the Broncos for their first round pick, have 3 top 5 picks, and pick Caleb Williams, Drake May, and whatever other top quarterback there is. Have all 3 of them. One of them has to hit, man. One of them has to hit.
None of them. Look, the way the Bears are, they don't know how to develop anybody. With our luck, we'll get all three, and then they all just pan out to be the worst quarterback.
Yeah, season end,
Right,
like career-ending injury, dog shit quarterback, and then we trade the third one because we're like, one of these two guys.
Somebody gets kidnapped and human traffic. I mean, with the way the Bears are going nowadays, it's like, what's going on here?
Hey, that's like using dirty water to make Kool-Aid, bro. Like, it's not gonna make a difference. We can't keep this coaching staff, get rid of Justin Fields, and then try to draft another quarterback. We're going to be in the same position. Like, I love Caleb Williams to death, bro. And I would be so brokenhearted if we got rid of Justin Fields and kept Eberflus and Getz and brought Caleb Williams in here.
You know, he's like, I don't want to. He's praying to God that the Bears. He's a part of the Bears. Yeah. He's praying to God the Bears don't pick him.
He's going to go back.
He's like, I'll go another year. Another year.
Yeah, I'll go back to USC. I don't give a shit. That's fine.
Bo Nix has already been there for 5 years. Like, nah, you know what? I'll go another year. I'm good.
Bro, he's gonna stay there for 6 years waiting for the Bears to get good.
I swear.
So Mr. Tony Football, is the season over? Is the season over?
Man, yeah, I have no shot. I have no faith in the Bears whatsoever this season. I have no faith in him at all, Rick. I don't know how anybody in their right mind can have any optimism or faith. How? When they show you time and time again, it doesn't matter who the GM is, doesn't matter who the quarterback is, doesn't matter who the coach, doesn't matter who the receivers, doesn't matter who the offensive line, doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. It's the same BS every single year. Yep. You just change the names on each position, and it's the same BS every fucking time.
Yep.
The Packers are always going to kill us. They own us. They're always going to own us. The Lions and Vikings are going to be whatever, but they're still going to be better than us. We're going to go against the top elite teams, and they're going to just beat us by 40, by 50, by everything.
Yep.
Would you say the Packers have a better roster than us?
They have a better what?
Roster. Yeah, they definitely do have a better roster than
absolutely.
My country mile. Ain't even funny.
Well, you know what? Defense, I'll say they have better players on defense. I'll give you that. But on offense, like besides the O-line, like Jordan Love is throwing to third string receivers, bro.
Yeah.
While Justin Fields has a number one in DJ Moore and someone who used to be a bona fide 2 in Pittsburgh in Claypool, and Darnell Mooney, who was a 1 for a while. Like I can't imagine Jordan Love had these weapons.
Mooney had a 1,000-yard season. A lot of people forget that. Got injured last year for most of the season, right? And sure, he was a 1,000-yarder because out of necessity. But you're right. Like we've got a soft-ass Claypool, a no longer relevant Mooney, and DJ Moore, who's like, I don't know. He's dropping passes. He's just like, I don't even want to be here anymore, man. I don't know what's going on with this roster because on paper, we've all said it. This roster on paper before, once free agency hit and everything, we're like, wow, the improvements have been real. Poles is doing a good job. Obviously, we all credited him with getting in Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, the last-minute signing of Ngakoue. It looked like these guys were going to come in and be better. But so far, what's that?
They still can't. I just think under the different coaching staff. I think under the right.
Yeah, but it's just so rough to see a defensive-minded coach, and the defense is one of the worst in the league. They can't tackle anyone. Nobody. Everybody was shedding tackles from Edmonds, from Edwards, from Stroman, like all these random guys because everyone seems to get hurt. Yep. And Ngakoue can't do shit. Justin Jones has been doing all right, but like a lot of this line has been pretty bad too. Like zero pressure on Mahomes, zero pressure on Baker Mayfield, zero pressure on Love.
I said we had Mayfield looking like Baker Mahomes out there, like
100%. And we had Mahomes looking like Tom Brady or Mahomes 10 years from now when he's getting, inducted in the Hall of Fame or whatever, 20 years from now.
That was already going to be a given, Rick. It's the other two quarterbacks that I think we all have a problem with. Is that they made a quote-unquote first-year starter in Jordan Love looking like Aaron Rodgers never left, and it's looking like Baker Mayfield looked like the Baker Mayfield in Oklahoma doing whatever the hell he wants to do on that football field. Patrick Mahomes was always going to be Patrick Mahomes no matter what he was going to do. I mean, 2-time Super Bowl and MVP for a reason. It's just sad to see that, like, at the end of the day, guys, we are still talking about the same thing over and over and over again. Nothing has changed, and it's like we still have like 13 more games to go. We still have just 3 more months of football left of this bullshit, guys. And you're right, maybe it does happen where I'm gonna put this into my conversation of like the soccer way, like, right, the manager bump, right? The manager gets fired, he gets sacked right away. The new manager comes in, and the team just feels rejuvenated and just ready to go and excited to play for a new guy, trying to prove themselves that they're worth to being on this team. And maybe that does work, mate. You know, but in football, in American football, that's hard to do because there's game plans, there's playbooks that you need to learn, there's all of this. To where, I mean, in soccer, it's just, yes, you run around and kick the ball, but it's easy to be like, okay, line up like this, line up like this, line up like this, and then do this because it's simple. Right,
but not to mention, Eric. Not to mention, you need an interim coach that's going to take over the ranks. You can't just bring in a whole new coach, and there's no interim coach. There's nobody on this team coaching staff.
No assistant coach.
There's nothing. Coach just resigned. There's nobody to look forward to. That's why this team looks so bad. That's why it sucks for us Bears fans. There's no future at all.
You know what it is, Jose? It starts. It usually starts with one place. And then it spreads to everybody else. Yeah. So when one person doesn't believe in the team, everybody you bring in is going to not believe in the team. Yep. I was against the Claypool trade, but not because I don't believe in Claypool, but more because I knew about his work ethic in Pittsburgh, and that's why he was getting in trouble in Pittsburgh, because his work ethic. And you brought him to a team where everyone has a hard time believing in the team, so their work ethics are down. So now Claypool gets there, and now his work ethic is down. It's just spreading to. So you have to bring somebody in who's going to like lift that team and start fresh, bro. Because nobody believes Justin Fields to the offense, the defense. We're not getting no pressure on defense because they don't care. They don't care about sacking the quarterback. They're just out there doing their job on offense. They don't care, bro.
They're collecting a paycheck and that's it.
Right? They literally are just out there. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue, like, yes, he's been on plenty of different teams, but he's been successful on every team he's been on. And I've completely forgotten that the Bears even signed him.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's just there collecting a paycheck because they don't believe in that damn locker room. I can't imagine what their talks are like after the game, bro.
His most memorable moment yesterday was almost hurting Patrick Mahomes because he fell into him. And it had nothing to do with his talent. He was just pushed into him. That's the only thing about him.
If Mahomes would have been out, I would have been like, I'm counting that as a sack for the team. I'm counting that as a sack.
I would have been mad because they just, like, you know, your dog shit play just got rid of one of the most exciting players in football. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
So, 3 weeks into the season, at this point, is there any saving grace for Eberflus? Is there any saving grace for Getsy?
Bro, I could do a better job, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie on football like that. I'm going to tell him to do it over.
Mr. 11-5.
Confusing them with the wrong football and shit. But I feel like I could do a better job than that, to be honest. It's not that hard to motivate players. Just get the right guys to call the right plays, and that's about it. I mean, at this point, the Bears need a motivator. The Bears need Denzel Washington from Remember the Titans to be the fucking coach, man. They need the guy from the Replacements guy to be the coach.
Denzel Washington from
Even Bobby Boucher. I don't give a damn who it is, man. They just need somebody.
Everybody made fun of Dan Campbell, but you need somebody like that.
At this point, I mean, just somebody, anybody.
Guys who aren't vanilla, who aren't boring. Everybody the Bears bring in is vanilla, bro. Like because they reflect the ownership. They reflect ownership. That's what it is.
I would do some downright disgusting shit to get Dan Campbell on this team as his head coach. I would do some things that are foul, some things that all the gods of all the religions would look down on and just question humanity to get someone like Dan Campbell in this facility, because clearly Eberflus, as tough as he's been, Yeah, like we don't deserve a guy like that. But all the hype about Eberflus, and to be fair, like when they hired him, I was like, I don't know, but he had a really good defense in Indianapolis. Yeah, exactly. I was like, meh, but he had a really good defense, and it's just been horrible. And Getsy, I mean, he could have had a head coaching job last year after like those last few weeks of offense he put together. This year, that's it. He's probably going to go back to being a quarterback's coach next year.
Yep.
Can we please hire offensive guys? I mean,
think that's what we need.
Matt Nagy, whatever,
Yeah.
wherever you thought, it's different when you have like a transitional quarterback. Like that's different when you have someone like Mahomes. So it kind of makes you look very good. But we need to bring an offensive guy, because what's the one position the Bears have gotten wrong our whole lives?
Quarterback.
The quarterback position, right? So you would think they would focus on that and bring somebody in who will make that spot so much better. Because, yeah, you've been drafting good on defense for years. That's always been your thing. So shouldn't that give you an idea, like, maybe we should try to, put all our, eggs in the quarterback.
But,
basket,
the only thing about that, CP, is that then you give Poles another reason. If Poles doesn't turn out to be the GM, you're going to give him an extra year because whatever quarterback he brings in, that he's tied to that, and you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Then it's the same thing over and over.
For how much longer?
Right, for how much longer? That's what you need. Like, if you're Kevin Warren, you need to bring in a GM who's going to bring in his own coach, and then you three together, you make that decision.
Yes.
Quarterback, and I feel like that's the only way it's going to work. You're going to get Brian Poles. He's going to have another 2 years. He's probably going to bring in a quarterback because he needs to save his job. But then what happens in 2 or 3 years after that, when the quarterback doesn't plan out, then you get rid of Poles, you get rid of whoever the coach is, and you have to bring in somebody else, and then that quarterback probably has to be there another year. No, you need a whole new facelift here. You need everything.
Do you guys remember that video of Ryan Pace selecting Mitchell Trubisky, or right before, and he's like, we got 1, 2, 3, 5 people said Mitch Trubisky is their number one quarterback on the board. You know who the sixth person was that didn't want Mitchell Trubisky during the draft? Was Fox. John Fox wanted Deshaun Watson. I mean, look, whatever happened with Deshaun Watson, but he knew Mitchell Trubisky wasn't the fucking guy.
I would die on that hill, Rick. I would die on that hill to tell you that Deshaun Watson should have been the Bears quarterback when they drafted him.
I mean,
easily.
He still doesn't look like he still doesn't look like a good quarterback.
I don't care what he is now. It's just look how he was back then.
It matters, Eric. It does matter because you can't sit here and
butterfly effect. But he comes to Chicago, maybe he doesn't do that weird shit.
Exactly. That's right. You can't sit here and say Patrick Mahomes won't be Patrick Mahomes here in Chicago, and then expect Deshaun Watson to be Deshaun Watson here in Chicago. It makes no sense.
Deshaun Watson was already that guy in college, though. He took Alabama to the near.
Okay, Eric.
That was the greatest college football team in the world. But he won a national championship with them.
Yeah.
The cap for Deshaun Watson was not that much between the other two guys, and we know that. We know that there was a ceiling that Deshaun Watson was going to hit, but he was already a bona fide winner. He was already that guy to be there, done that. He was the already NFL-ready quarterback. And you see when he did it in Houston. He took him to back-to-back.
You should have picked him over Mitchell Trubisky, but he wouldn't have been any better. I'm sorry.
I don't
wait a minute.
That one.
Look, I just think
he would have been better than Trubisky, CP and Rick.
No, but
he would have been better than Trubisky, but he wouldn't have been the Deshaun Watson you've seen in Houston. He would.
I think
who did he have in Houston? When he got drafted, they had a way better team. They had a good defense with Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. They still had Hopkins over there. They were actually a good contending team when he was there. The Bears weren't.
Same 2018 defense.
2018, yeah.
It would have escalated this whole process a lot more.
And I think what Eric's what I think Eric's getting to as well is like Mitch Trubisky had 10 starts in college, whereas at North Carolina, and you had.
Eric, I get where Eric's coming from. Deshaun Watson 100% would have been a better pick, but it doesn't matter who they brought in. that quarterback would have been gone already. The Bears don't know how to develop him. It could have been Patrick Mahomes. It could have been Deshaun Watson. He wouldn't be on this team right now, regardless of the fact none of them would have been on this team right now.
I just think the thinking that went into that draft in 2017, where you traded up 2 spots to draft Mitchell Trubisky over someone who was in the national championship and a Texas Tech quarterback named Patrick Mahomes who was killing it in college. Like, I was surprised, and again, this is the part of me that's saying I want Justin Fields to be good, is because they picked someone from a great college who has great quarterbacks, and sure, they don't work on the NFL, but they made a pick that made sense. I was like, wow, Justin Fields? That guy was doing great at Ohio State. This is a pick that makes sense. Right?
It probably wouldn't have been as hard on them if they didn't trade all the stuff they traded to trade up for Trubisky, knowing that I seen like 20.
He would have been their third round.
I seen 20 draft boards, and Mitchell Trubisky was not on any draft boards, whether it be ESPN, NFL Network, whatever network I was watching, bro. Nobody had Trubisky on. I didn't see Trubisky till the very end, bro.
Yep.
Where the Bears were talking about drafting him. They were talking about the top 2 quarterbacks being taken. Deshaun Watson kept being mentioned as the first quarterback to be taken, with Mahomes being a distant second, but we knew he was going to be the second. I never heard any word about Trubisky until 2 weeks before the draft, bro.
Right.
He had
the Bears with anybody. You could have picked Patrick Mahomes. He wouldn't have beat Patrick Mahomes that he is today, nor Deshaun Watson. They would have had one good year. In 2018 would have been the one good year, and that's it. Then afterwards, what happened to the defense in 2019? What happened to a lot of those guys got injured? A lot of those guys left. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they would have had one good year in 2018. Those quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, whoever would have came, would have been gone already, because the years after that, the team digressed all over the place. Not just offensively, defensively, special team, the coaching side, everything.
You at least still had your quarterback intact, and that's the one thing.
Yes,
his rookie year. That's
with Ryan Pace. Yes, but with Ryan Pace building around him, who proven he couldn't do anything, who proven he wasn't the coach, and he was still would have brought Matt Nagy, who proven. Don't forget the debacle of Matt Nagy and all the stuff that he went through, and then they went to go get Justin Fields, who had a good college football career, who was in the national championship and everything. It wouldn't have made a difference. Look at him now. The fact of the matter is, the Bears just don't know how to get anything right in any position of their football operations.
At the end of the day, what really happened was they got rid of Robbie Gould and had Cody Parker do the double doink. Because I think if they would have won that fucking playoff game against the Eagles, a lot of things would change around it as well.
2018 would have probably brought us a Super Bowl if we had Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. Then 2019 and 2020 would have been.
They needed a better kicker. All right, we're going back to the bad times, and we're in a bad time. We're in a bad time, but we're going back in time. So let's do some final thoughts here on the Bears. CP, I'll start with you. Final thoughts on the Bears. This just about the Chiefs game and kind of where you're seeing this Bears team, moving forward.
Well, I think Taylor Swift will probably be the highlight of our year, because it's all downhill from here.
It wasn't even our girl.
Right, it's not even our girl. Like, we're just happy to be there. We're just
we weren't.
Happy to be part of something great.
Yeah.
And if Kelsey and Swift actually go somewhere with this, it'll all go back to the Bears. Thanks, Mahomes. You helped me get my touchdown for the Bears when she was cheering for me.
Dude. Kelsey's jerseys went up 400% since yesterday.
Right?
The Swifties are out.
Football people too.
All the white bitches are gonna get a Kelsey jersey.
Exactly.
Literally.
For real.
And that's what I'm saying. And I don't have the hope that, like I said, I don't have the hope that other optimistic Bears fans have, talking about the schedule eases up a bit from here, because like I said, with the way we look, because I expected a bounce back after that embarrassment against the Packers. I'm thinking, okay, it's the Packers, they know us well, we'll respond to this. And then you go and do that against Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, and it's I'm looking at the Bucks right now. They look pretty pedestrian against the Eagles. So
yeah, each game has been progressively worse.
That's what I'm saying. But yet the Bears made them look like a playoff ready team. And you're doing that against Baker Mayfield. I can't imagine what's going to happen against Jimmy G and Devontae Adams or Justin Herbert. Like, this schedule doesn't inspire confidence. The only team I may see us beating, and that might not even happen, it's probably the Panthers, bro. That's the only game on the schedule I see us winning.
And even then, I don't know who I want to win that game. Like, let's be real, right?
So
that really doesn't even matter.
Game.
Yeah,
we're getting the pick regardless. It doesn't matter.
That was
Yeah.
so it really doesn't matter. It's just okay. The Bears are either picking 1 or 2.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's Carolina pick or the Bears pick.
All right, Eric. Final thoughts on this Chiefs game, and then we'll go to Tony football.
I just hope that Travis Kelce doesn't drop the football and then he drops Taylor Swift, because there's gonna be a song about him talking about how he dropped that pass, just how he dropped Taylor Swift. Bro. I can already hear it in the song, bro. In the next couple of years, like that's something I'm afraid of for my boy Kelce right there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, man, we're atrocious. We're an embarrassment to the National Football League. We're an embarrassment to Chicago, to the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. We are garbage. We are hot garbage. We are shit. We don't know how to play football. There's nothing good about this team.
Hot garbage.
And I'm just hoping for a win so I can at least smile and say the Bears won a game this season, and that's it. You know. Yeah.
Like some of us. Remember when we picked the schedule? And some of us had them winning 9-10 games.
That's your boy Johnny. That's your boy Johnny Parlay right there.
Like,
Tony football. Final thoughts on this Chiefs game.
I can't wait for Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks season to start already, because I'm done with the Bears.
The Blackhawks.
And in my opinion, the Bears season is over. I will no longer watch any Bears games the rest of the season. It's all red zone here on out. You can call me a fake fan all you want, Eric. I'm just not gonna be disappointed.
You don't want to be put in pain, Eric. What's up?
Yeah, I'm not gonna allow that team to dictate my emotions anymore the rest of the season. They could win the next 4, and I'm not gonna be optimistic because they'll lose the next 10 right after. So I'm not really worried about it. So that's basically it.
Yeah,
you're not gonna end up in therapy because of them.
Exactly.
Oh no! See, I got the best sport in the world to keep me happy in football. You know,
no,
Champions
League. No, he won't because Arsenal's gonna disappoint him too.
Like,
Arsenal will disappoint him even worse than the Bears. So I'm not worried about that.
I feel, and I was talking to Eric about this earlier, right? Like, I just bought this Bears hat. I'm getting close to just like really being like not buying any merch. I feel like
Me too.
I feel like a sugar daddy that's paying some sugar baby all this money, who's giving her all the attention, who's giving her all the money, and I get absolutely nothing in return.
She's getting her back blown out by Tyrone.
She's going out there fucking giving it to somebody 20 years younger than me, and I'm just throwing cash at her. I feel played. I just feel played, man. This team looked horrible against the Chiefs, and like I said, since the start of the season has looked progressively worse. Yeah. It's going to be very, very tough to come back from this, especially with how uninspired everyone across the team looks and is playing. You could tell on the field. You can tell with their post-game conferences and stuff like that. They just look completely uninspired. I don't know what we have to do. I don't know what they have to do. But, hey, Eberflus is going to take a really hard look at what's going on in this facility, in this team. He's going to take a really hard look because he's such a hard, tough guy, right? I hope he gets fired at the end of the season. I'm positive he will. They gave Nagy 3 years, but even Nagy had one good year.
I hope he gets fired tomorrow.
I hope he gets fired tomorrow too.
Hey, if this continues, the sell the team chance gonna start. I'm telling you.
Sell the team chance. Don't buy merch. Empty stadiums.
I am this close, and I'm gonna give you guys a video to watch either on any type of social media. But look up the Ajax fans from over the weekend. I'm that close to start that type of riot outside of Soldier Field, bro. Just look at it.
That's what we need. That's literally what we need. We need to boycott and riot like the McCaskies. Like, it's over. Like I can't.
Eric and Tony are ready to go full hooligan.
I swear, I'll make the picket signs right now.
just go outside Soldier Field, pay for the parking, and watch the game outside and boo from the outside. All you need to do. And I bet you it'll still sound more louder outside than it will inside the stadium. With all that being said, hey guys, you guys are welcome to come to my house on Sunday and watch the Bears here at my house, guys. You can, just enjoy a nice, conversation, laugh, drinks, food, all that stuff. CP, you're more than welcome to come, buddy. Rick, if you want to make a flight from Seattle down to over here, bro, you're more than welcome to come too, man.
I'm about this close to being a fucking Seahawks fan. They're doing way better with Geno fucking Smith, dude.
I tell you what, I've been wearing my Chargers. I mean, they haven't been making me happy either, but I'd rather wear my Chargers
shit.
Trust me, I just bought hella Chiefs gear, bro. I'm done
CP,
my Bears clothes are in the washing machine right now. Washing it. I'm gonna wear it next week.
CP got one of those custom Chiefs jerseys with Travis Kelce's number, but Swift on the back.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'm going all in, baby.
Travis Swift,
Travis Swift. And just like Tony said earlier, he's looking forward to the Blackhawks. Let's move on to a little bit positive news. The Cubs holding on to a wild card spot right now. They're holding on. They're holding on. They're barely. They're currently third, and it was so funny because I'm a season ticket holder. They gave me the option to buy the playoff tickets, right? And I did it. It seems as soon as I hit that fucking confirm button, they went down.
Down.
Wait.
Yeah.
You said you're a season ticket holder?
Yeah.
And we're finding this out right now? Like,
what do you mean? I've been telling you guys that.
Oh, I never knew that before.
100%. What do you think how do you think I gave away the tickets when I was still in Crack One Media and doing all that? It's season tickets.
Bro, what have you been doing with the tickets this whole time?
My brother and I go halvesies, so he's been selling them all.
I thought we were friends.
Wow.
All right, well, hey, breaking news. Rick has season tickets to the Cubs.
Well, they made the playoff on my tickets, man. Absolutely.
So, obviously just broke the news to you guys. Sorry, I really thought I mentioned it to you guys. Shit. All right, my bad. As I got like tons of Cubs fans here doing this show. They are holding on to a wild card spot, currently third. The guys creeping up to them, the teams creeping up to them are the Marlins and who else? I believe it was the
Marlins.
The Reds, yeah.
Marlins
and the Reds. And Diamondbacks, I think they're tied. Yeah.
The Giants are out already.
Yeah. So they don't have any of those tiebreakers. They have 6 games left, 3 against the Braves, 3 against the Brewers.
Ooh.
The magic number right now is 6. They need 6 combined wins and losses from the Marlins and them to secure their spot. But again, we talked about it earlier. It's tough to be a Chicago fan. It's not as tough being a Cubs fan right now. I had them. This is the first year with Dansby Swanson. They have been doing pretty well this year. For me, I thought a wild card was in the works. I just didn't think they was going to be this secure. But obviously, it's getting a little loosey-goosey right now. But they've been doing well. Nico Horner, 40-plus stolen bases. Cody Bellinger looks like his 2019 MVP self. Like, this team looks good. Seiya Suzuki is heating up towards the end of the season right now when really he needs to after having injuries and having cold streaks and stuff like that. I guess the biggest question is, do they make the wild card? And if they do they get far? Tony Football, you want to start?
Yeah, the one thing going for them is they swept the Rockies last 3 games, but they have the Braves the next 3, and if we're talking about the Diamondbacks, they have the White Sox. So
where's Jack and Johnny Parlay at?
When you look at that, it doesn't bode well for the Cubs when you're facing a lot of Braves teams that already have 100 wins, and the Diamondbacks who are literally tied, have the same record as you, are going against the White Sox. Another disastrous team here in Chicago. It doesn't bode well, but you do have momentum on your side, and you do have, like I said, momentum on your side. The Cubs, the one thing they have going for them is offense. They just have to pitch well against the Atlanta Braves, and that's a lot easier said than done. But my confidence level, Rick, I'm not gonna lie, is like 50-50 right now because of what I just said.
Same.
But man, I'm hoping. I really am. I have way more optimism for the Cubs right now.
What I will say, that 50-50, like you said, by all accounts, this season is a success. I think no matter which way they go, wild card or no playoffs, I think at the end of the day, this is a success. CP, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's a success based on they built it off to their hot finish to last year. That's how I felt on it. I mean, obviously you want them to get in. I mean that the Chicago could really use that right now. And,
yeah.
And like
it's only for a certain percentage.
They've had some weird losses, some weird series losses, but they've also had some good moments, and I feel like all you have to do is just get in just to have a chance. Like I said, we seen last year, anything can happen. San Diego beat the Dodgers. You see what I'm saying? Like anything can happen once you get in, as long as your pitchers lock in. And the Cubs have some pitchers that can lock in. Justin Steele can lock in. Marcus Stroman just got back. Javier Assad, he's looked good.
Yeah,
Wicks.
Kyle Hendricks, he has the playoff experience. Like they have a good rotation, guys. In their offense, like you said, Seiya is heating up. Cody Bellinger has been awesome. Like you just have to get in. Like everybody knows these are the dark days of baseball where you start to die down, you start to get tired. August, September, like those games start to wear on you. Like no one expected the Cubs to really stay hot like that. Like it's tough. I give Milwaukee credit for what they're doing, but they'll get in the playoffs, I'm sure. But that non-offense they be having, I feel like it's going to catch up with them.
Absolutely.
They have a really limited offense, and I feel like I personally believe the Cubs are better than the Brewers, even with the Brewers being 20 games over 500.
And you talked about the Cubs having really good wins, having good moments and weird ones. They lost a couple series right recently, but we got to remember they went undefeated in series. They went 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 3-0s for a long stretch of time. And
the All-Star break, they were one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, they were since June 10th, I believe. Through the All-Star break, they won series after series after series, game after game, and that's kind of, we got to credit them there, right? So, Eric, with all that being said, what are your thoughts?
Let's not forget that they caught up to the Brewers at one point for the division, and then they just started doing.
They were 1.5 behind.
Brewers.
Milwaukee just got high.
Let me put a little bit more optimistic in you guys, other than CP, because I know CP's not a Cubs fan, but
Let's go.
Right here for you guys. The last time that the Cubs played against the Braves here at home, they won 2 out of 3. Didn't think it was going to happen. It happened. The last series that they had against the Milwaukee Brewers, I think it was here. They won 2 out of 3, and the last time they were in Milwaukee, they split a 4-game series 2-2. With all that being said, yes, all 6 games are going to be on the road at Atlanta and at Milwaukee, but the Cubs do turn up against the good teams.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
In the stretch, right? Their offense sometimes comes and they explode out of nowhere, this and that. Like
the Reds, they put up 20 runs against the Reds.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that keeps me a little bit more confident in the Cubs. I'm right with you guys. Except for me, I'm a 55% that I think that they might have a chance of making it into the wild card position at the last spot, correct? The one thing the one thing about that is that the Braves have already clinched. They're still playing tough, but they have already clinched, right?
They're still fighting for the 1 seed, though, with the Dodgers.
They're still fighting for the 1 seed, and I think they might get it. Even with 1 win against the Cubs or 1 or 2 wins in the next 2 series, I think they already clinched it, depending on the Brewers, depending what they do against the Cubs. But even outside of that, the Cubs have a good chance, and all they need is they need that 2 for 1. They need the Diamondbacks to lose 1 game, the Cubs win 1 game, and you already reduce your game by 2.
Yep.
The pitching has been good. The pitching been not good. It's been okay. It's been up and down. The offense, same thing. It's been up and down. This month has been a very up and down ride for the Chicago Cubs.
Down to earth. I feel like they've been on a high for so long. I feel like they kind of came down to earth a little bit.
They did, and it's bound to happen because baseball is long. They play 736 games throughout the year, guys. So it's a long
double headers every day.
Exactly, it's a long season for baseball. So with that being said, I think the Cubs are in an okay spot where I think they might get the last spot. They will get the last spot in my eyes. I think they will go into the playoffs, and then they will place against the Milwaukee Brewers once again as the 6th seed, which is just perfect. Even though Brewers have the better pitching staff than the Chicago Cubs, and their offense is a little bit better, the opportunistic of the Chicago Cubs and they can take a series from the Brewers. They can do that. They play them so many times throughout the season. I think so. I'm just the one thing that just worries about me is that can they put it together and how much more can they squeeze out of the talent of the pitching staff is just the only worrying thing about me because pitching comes down to such a crucial part this end of the season and into the playoffs.
Yeah,
and that's where like how much juice does Steele have? How much juice does Wicks have? How much juice does Kyle Hendricks still have? And then whatever you get out of Assad is just a bonus. And it's just like they're squeezing out the last bit of talent from the starting pitching and even the bullpen. So that's where it worries me a little bit that the offense sometimes cracks under pressure when the pitching is not there. And we've seen it time and time again against the Pirates, against these weak teams, even especially against the Diamondbacks that were just there. They're competing for the playoff spot and pushing for the playoff spot. They crack under pressure when the pitching's not there, and the bats tighten up a little bit. And that's the one thing that worries about me.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say about baseball, right? Like CP had said it earlier, you get in, and now it's kind of like a coin toss because baseball is definitely one of those sports. The MLB is definitely one of those very few sports where if you get in, it doesn't matter if you're a 1 or a 2. It could be anybody, or a 6. I forget what team it was a few years ago that was a wild card.
I think it was the Braves, wasn't it?
I think it was the Braves.
I think it was the Braves. Okay, so then it was the Braves.
And they won the World Series.
Oh no, because they won the division. They won the
division.
Yeah, they've been division winners for like 6-7 years in a row or something like that. I'm talking about like maybe early to mid 2010s where it was like a wild card got in and won. I think it may have been the Nationals actually. Weren't the Nationals a wild card?
Back in 2019.
The Phillies actually were a wild card.
And the Phillies
when they won the World Series.
Exactly. So I feel like the Cubs, like y'all have been saying, they get in, anything can happen. Stroman turns it up in the playoffs. Justin Steele continues his domination of baseball and pitching, right? Like I have more faith in the Cubs going to the World Series than the Bears ever drafting a quarterback that makes sense ever. So I would put
I agree with you.
I would put my life savings into the Cubs winning a World Series versus the Bears drafting a quarterback. Like if those were the only two options, I'd be like, all right, Cubs making the World Series. So, but I feel good. Like I said, regardless of how any of us or anybody out there, any Cubs fans feels about like, will they make the playoffs? It's a good season. And I go back to probably last year or 2 years ago, right? When a lot of us were very, very mad at Jed Hoyer for getting rid of Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Anthony Rizzo. And
it made sense to me.
I'm not mad.
I felt like, but the overall feeling was like, get rid of Jed. Jed doesn't know what he's doing. Why is he getting rid of these guys? These guys have been cornerstones in this organization. Me, I didn't want to get rid of Rizzo. Rizzo was probably the toughest one. Chris Bryant, Javi Baez. Okay, Baez was
definitely expendable.
Yeah, Chris Bryant was an MVP Rookie of the Year. Like I loved his time here. He had some big hits or stuff like that. But for me, I was like, you know what? This is Jed's team now. It's not Theo's team. Jed's got to put his stamp on this organization, and he's going to do it one way or the other. And if we suck like we did when we lost 90-plus games the first year he took over, 100. We suck. Look what happened when Theo took over, right? Theo took over, we still sucked, but it took 2-3 years, probably even a little bit more, to finally have that, what did he say? Sustained success. And I think that's what Jed's doing now with Dansby Swanson, with Nico Horner, who, by the way, Nico Horner, to me, I would have never expected to be this good, but he's a fucking legit all-star.
Oh, I definitely did.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and he's building this team. He's making good moves. And, I mean, Ross, who knows what they'll do with Ross. Obviously, they give him that contract extension. I like him, but, like, some of the moves he makes sometimes is just like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're going to take this pitcher out right now when he's dealing? But I feel like managers go up and down with that. But I think for me, personally, like, this season is going to be a success no matter what. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have to, the people who did not like what Jed did earlier have to give him this credit. They have to give him his due.
I think people were more heartbroken by their attachment to, Rizzo,
Absolutely,
Baez.
Absolutely.
you built the connection with those guys. Those guys, like when you thought of those guys, you thought of Chicago, you know?
Yeah, and I'm just tooting my own horn. I think I put out like a tweet or something being like, yeah, I'm going to miss these guys, but I know it's going to be better. So I'm just tooting my own horn here.
Yeah, you
knowing it was going to be good.
Chicago literally grew up with them. Like, watching them from being youngins to being all-stars. So, like, and when you build that from your own farm system and you
not all-stars, World Series champions.
World Series champ, buddy.
Right. And you watch all that, and for them to just like all be shipped off at once, it's a lot to take.
It's tough. Yeah. It's tough for sure.
No, it was pretty tough. Like I said, I cried when Rizzo left. I had a tear. I'm not gonna lie. That did break my heart.
You so
Rizzo was my guy. Whatever you want. I cried when Rizzo left, right? And especially when he went to the Yankees, and that's what made me more upset.
That was annoying.
My brother, who's a Yankees fan.
That's annoying.
But I mean, think about it, guys. Jed got it right. Other than Kyle Schwarber and Rizzo a little bit here and there, he got it right.
Kyle Schwarber, yeah, for sure.
No, even Wilson Contreras, he got that one right too.
Wait, what about Kyle Schwarber? Y'all didn't like him?
No.
I'm talking about like
he said he got that wrong.
He said
Schwarber was wrong.
Yeah, I feel like if we would have kept Schwarber, maybe Schwarber would have been good still, like on this team. Like he's killing it in Philly, so.
Yeah, he's killed it really everywhere he's went.
Special attachment. We had that special attachment simply because of 2015, which to me, I don't care what I'm saying this right now. 2015 to me was the best year. It was the most fun I ever had. I think 2015 was the best year for me, other than outside of the 2016. But that was supposed to be a given. That was supposed to be where the the Cubs were supposed to compete. So these guys will forever be legends, no matter where they went, no matter where they go. Wilson Contreras went to the Cardinals and he was still beloved coming back because we knew what he meant to this team winning in 2016. So, these guys will go down in history, and the only team that could probably defeat them and overtake them as the best team in Chicago for years is the Bears when they won the Super Bowl, whatever team that is. So
that's
it. Like nobody else can come close.
One thing I do appreciate about this version of the Cubs team, different from that 2016 one, is that I feel like they prioritize contact. Like, there are a lot of high batting averages in that lineup where you had Schwarber, Baez, and Bryant. They were always, hunting for the home runs and stuff, Contreras. But this team, they're all about contact. I love what Suzuki does. I love Bellinger. His approach is different. He hit 40 home runs one year. The home runs,
Candelario.
Candelario.
Yeah, everybody's
Morel.
batting average is 270, 280, 300. That's also a good thing to have going into the playoffs, because people go in these droughts where when the playoffs hit, it's a different story. Those home runs don't mean much when the playoffs come.
Can we hire the hitting coach for the Bears head coach job? Because
and there was a meme I saw where it was like, I think the Cubs could beat the Bears right now in football. I was like, no way. I was like, yeah, probably. I'd put my money on the Cubs too. Shit, why not?
Cody Bellinger?
Yeah, Cody Bellinger's like the athlete right there.
Yeah. Magical at quarterback.
So,
bro, he has no legs for quarterback. He's
gonna be the Kyler Murray.
All right, guys, I gotta head out.
Let's get that again.
But
I'll see you Sunday at the house.
We'll see. I work.
All right, Tony Football. See you, man. Thanks for joining the BLC stream. See ya. All right. Well, that's kind of us wrapping up then here with the Cubs. They're holding on to the wild card spot. They're the best team in Chicago right now. Up until I think Tony said it earlier, right? Fucking hockey starts and Connor Bedard is looking like the savage that he hopefully will be. Seems to me like Chicago hockey's the only one that gets any sustained success.
Right is he really going to be? Is he going to be in with the first team right away, or do we still have?
I have a feeling he will be.
He got to, right?
He's got to be. He's got to fit. All those season tickets were not sold for somebody else to start over him. There's no way. There's no way.
Hell, bro. They gonna raise hell. They go to them games and he's bro. Don't do it.
But all right.
And y'all got to be White Sox fans
when they play the regular season. That's all I say.
This next series, y'all gonna have to be White Sox fans.
Eric doesn't believe the hockey season starts until the playoffs for hockey, so that's the regular season, and just the Stanley Cup playoffs, that's the postseason for Eric. That's when it really matters.
Real regular season right there.
But all right, what's up?
I said win 16 games and you're a champ. That's easy. That's the shortest one, right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I don't know about y'all, but I'm seeing football right now, and I'm seeing competent teams play, and I'm like, man, this must be nice to be an Eagles fan. Must be nice to even be a Bucks fan right now. Like, must be nice to be a Bengals fan. Must be nice to be a Rams fan. They've already won a Super Bowl, and all it took was 2 years with the Rams. But real quick, I gotta get this comment by Tyler. My guy Rick, how do you feel about knowing Jordan Love is your new owner? I hate you, Tyler. Wow. I hate you. I hate the Packers. I hate that Aaron Rodgers sent Jordan Love. Like, thanks for keeping the ownership alive. Did you guys see that? That was insane.
Yeah, I saw that, bro.
Ridiculous. But anyway, thank you to everybody who commented, even Tyler. I'll even give my thanks to Tyler, even though he just like literally made me go back to rock bottom. Tyler, Christian, JST, and then CP for coming on, Eric, Jose, Tony Football. Eric hates it when I call him Tony Football.
He's not Tony Football.
Thank you all for coming on.
Eric's a hater, bro.
CP, one of the biggest supporters since day one. Always on here, always commenting. Love it, Eric. Again, thank you.
That scene in Lion King where he holds up the lion and he puts the paint on his head. That's what Rodgers did for Love.
He's like, you see, everything the light touches is yours. Jordan Love's like, sick.
And that Soldier Field in the background. Oh my god.
But then again, thank you to everybody. I'm back. BLC is back. Weekly episodes, and check out the Bears preview on JCA Sports. When is it, Eric? Wednesday.
Wednesday. On TBD on the time. We normally, send out the group text, but yeah, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Wednesday, we're gonna give you the preview to Broncos, Bears here on the lakefront.
Who's gonna put up 70? Who's gonna put up 70?
Are they gonna go to the over? No, we're just gonna try to find the optimism to see where can the Bears find a win. Obviously, 2 0-3 teams. That's gonna be a topic of conversation there. And then see what we got in last minute updates for the Chicago Cubs in their playoff push to obviously, like I said, in their playoff push this season. So, and a lot to get into on Wednesday with us here on the JCA Sports Podcast.
Absolutely, and I will probably be live streaming that game. I think Kyle, if anybody here listening and watching is likes only football, I think he's going to be at the game. He's going to be in Chicago at the game. Broncos 100, Bears 10. Tony Football. I literally just called you Tony Football, and that's what you're gonna put on there.
I tell you, man, he's
don't call him.
You get him on this thing, I'm trying to work you, man.
Check out JCA TBD on time, but check them out on Wednesday. I will be in the comments. Y'all be in the comments. CP's probably gonna make an appearance on there, and then catch Only Football live stream after that as well is on Sundays. We're gonna be probably live streaming a lot of games, talking about a lot of games. Week 4 coming up. But yes, follow us at Star6 Media on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Facebook at _Star6 Media on Twitter. We're available on all podcast platforms. I'm back, and I'm staying for good, baby. Rick is back on BLC, joined by everybody. Thank you guys again so much. And do you guys have any last words before we get out of here?
Yeah, I need Matthew Stafford to go off so I can beat Jose. That's all I need. That's all I need. I need him for 20-pointer, 30-pointer, and I'm good. It's not looking too well for me.
CP, how about you? How you doing in fantasy, CP?
Fantasy, I'm undefeated.
He's whooped my ass. I hate that shit. That there was no shot whatsoever I was going to beat.
All right, I'm going against you, right, Eric?
CP's the Eagles right now, undefeated.
I had Justin Herbert, Justin Jefferson go off on Justin Herbert gave him 60 fucking points, bro.
Insanity. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for checking out Big League Chicago. Catch the Only Football live stream of Monday Night Football doubleheader right now after this, and our Week 3 recap after those live streams. CP, Eric, Jose, everybody in the comments, thank y'all again. And we'll see you next time. See ya!